Hi, everybody. Caroline here. I'm going to offer a short practice today, one that can help us to feel perhaps more in our bodies and out of our heads. I know for me personally, at the moment, there's a lot happening in the world, and personally, that tends to encourage me to live up in my head and catastrophize and worry and feel overwhelmed. So this will be a short practice just to help to come back down into our bodies, to be present, to kind of be in control of the things that we can control and not get lost in that sort of cycle of thoughts that can cause us to feel overwhelmed or anxious. So it's going to be a short one today, just a little bit of breathing, a little bit of gentle movement, and I hope that you find it helpful. So to start off with, look for a comfortable position to be in. You can choose to sit, to lie down, to use props, furniture, however you feel that you can be most comfortable for a couple of minutes. We're going to do a short breathing practice and then just start to gently move our bodies. I'll give you a second there to get situated. And once you do, just take a second to pause. For me, it helps to close my eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, you can maybe just soften your eyes down towards a point on the ground or a point above you if you're lying down, just to get your attention to kind of softly focus in one place so that you can begin to notice how you're feeling. And take a second there just to check in with yourself. What do you notice when you stop and pause? Even asking yourself, how am I? As if you were talking to a friend, so that you receive whatever information is there with compassion, not with any sort of a judgment. Notice how you're feeling. Notice how that lands in your body. And then perhaps placing hands to your own body. It doesn't matter where, the chest, belly, holding your opposite arms. Just a gentle gesture to show your mind and body that you care, that you're here for it today. And with your hands still on your body, beginning to notice your breath. And perhaps the way your breath is expanding and moving your hands. Noticing the depth and the speed. Maybe there's a rhythm to your breath. Maybe it feels a bit scattered and all over the place, which is normal. And you might choose to keep your hands as they are, to let them release as we move into a breathing practice now. I'm just going to practice a few rounds of square or box breathing. I'll encourage you to find a number that suits you, but I'm going to be working with the number 4 to begin with. So I'm inhaling, counting to 4 as I breathe in, holding the breath, counting to 4 there. Exhaling to that same count of 4. And then holding the breath at the bottom for the same 4 count. I'm going to repeat that 3 more times at your own speed, at your own pace. Inhaling. Same number for that breath retention. Exhaling. And holding 2 more times. So square breathing has a lot of great benefits, but right now it just gives us the sense of control over something, our breath. And in controlling and kind of evening and slowing our breath, we tell our nervous system that everything right now is okay. Good one. Finish off that last round and just allow your arms to release if they haven't already. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining me. We're only going to work for about 10 minutes here with just some gentle movements to stretch things out, to release maybe some areas of chronic tension or holding or stress. Let's begin with the neck and shoulders. What we'll do is inhale and take the shoulders right up close to the ears, and exhale and roll them back and down away from the ears. That can be quite a small movement. It might be a big movement somewhere in the middle, but continuing it a few times, inhaling, almost exaggerating that a bit so that your breath is long, your shoulders scrunch up, exhaling as they move back and down away from the ears. Maybe take those circles the other way just a couple of times. Great. We're going to take hands to the back of the head. So we're interlacing the fingers here. If that doesn't work for you, fingertips to shoulders is another good option. We're going to open up through the elbows as you breathe in, and then close them off as you breathe out, maybe allowing the back to round as your chin drops down. So a few things going on here, working into the neck a bit, but also waking up the spine and kind of noticing those areas where movement feels a bit sticky, where there might be some discomfort, and areas where there's a bit more of ease of movement. Again, this can be a small, subtle movement or a bit bigger. That's up to you. Good. And we'll come back through to center after this last round, releasing to bring the hands down to the ground, keeping one hand down on the ground, and we're going to lean into that hand to take a side stretch. So you're just leaning in that direction. Maybe the other hand comes up to your ribs, noticing the movement of your breath there. Maybe you choose to reach that arm over your head into a different variation of this side stretch. Maybe a little bit of a wiggle from side to side, really opening up and stretching out those intercostal muscles, the ones that are between the ribs there. Good one. As you come up, bringing the torso up, but letting the head stay as it is, ear towards shoulder. And then taking the opposite arm and reaching and stretching it away from you. Good one. We'll let the chin drop down to the chest here. And then lifting the chin just as high as is comfortable in your neck. Good one. We'll take that side stretch now on the other side, planting your hand, a bit of a lean in that direction. And then maybe the opposite arm reaches up or places onto your ribs, noticing that area that's receiving the benefit of this stretch. A little wiggle if that feels good. Good. And as you come upright with your torso, allow your ear to stay there towards your shoulder. Maybe that arm reaches and stretches away, accentuating that stretch down through the neck, the shoulder, and that arm. Good one. As you release the arm, chin towards chest. Feel that stretch in the back of the neck, maybe even down the spine, and then inhale, lifting the chin, again, just as high as feels okay in your neck. And maybe as your head comes back to center, just giving the jaw a little wiggle from side to side, unclenching if you have that tendency to clench the teeth. Good one. Awesome. Let's move now into a tabletop. So I'm going to bring myself over onto my yoga mat. We'll just do some gentle rocking and moving around from there. So from a tabletop, you might be resting on hands, you might be resting on fists, or you might be resting on elbows if that's not comfortable in your wrists. Just going to gently shift the hips here from side to side, moving them one way and the other. Maybe as they move to the right, you can look over your right shoulder towards your right hip. As they move to the left, towards the left hip. Back and forth a couple more times here. Good. And then back through to center, sliding the hands just slightly forward of the shoulders or the elbows if that's what you're using. We'll just rock forward a bit on the inhale, rock back a bit on the exhale. Now with your feet, they might be untucked, or you might prefer to have the toes tucked under so that when you push back, you're getting a little bit of a stretch in your feet and your calf muscles. Rocking can be quite a soothing thing for the body, but you notice what the effect of that is for you. How far you go in each direction is just dependent on what's feeling okay today. Maybe one more time forward and back. Good. Coming up through center, we'll take a twist from your tabletop position. We're going to keep the right hand on the ground, inhaling to lift the left arm up. And then as you exhale, threading it behind the right so that you're coming down onto that left shoulder, maybe the side of your face on that side. If that's not comfortable for any reason, you can also take the same sort of a twist from sitting backwards first in child's pose. A little bit less intense perhaps, or even if you prefer coming up to a seat and twisting from your seat. Up to you. One more breath here. Good one. We'll come back up through center, keeping now the left hand planted as we reach the right arm up. Inhale, threading it underneath as we exhale and twist. Just a couple of breaths here in your twist. Let the breath be steady, consistent. Coming back up and through center from there into a tabletop shape. I'm going to take a big noisy exhale here, letting go with our voice of maybe some of what we're holding inside. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale. With as much sound as you'd like. Exhale. Maybe allow the head to drop, shaking it out. Good one. We're going to slide the hands back towards the knees here, bringing yourself up onto your knees. We'll take the right foot and step it forward so that we're in this low lunging position, maybe hands to that front leg or hands at your sides here as you lean it forward a bit. So you're dropping into that front knee a little bit, but maybe not so much that it starts to hurt or strain at all through your back. Good. And then from there, you can choose to keep the arms down, to reach them up, or just to make some circles there with your arms releasing through your shoulders. Good one. We're going to take the right hand onto the right hip, reach the left arm up, and come over into a side stretch from here. There's the option there to also take that right hand down to the ground or maybe to a prop if that would be more comfortable. And to not use the left arm. So you can lean without reaching the arm over. Big breath in and out. Coming up from there. Now we're going to pull back through our hips to lengthen that front leg, just to get a bit of a stretch for the hamstrings here. So we're kind of standing up tall here on our knee and inhaling and then gently leaning forward until you feel a stretch. It doesn't mean you need to get to your leg, just enough to begin to feel that back of that front leg stretching out a bit, loosening up those muscles. The leg can be straight or bent, whatever feels better. One more breath. Good. We'll come up from there. Slide that foot back and then over to the other side. Your left foot has come forward, kind of shifting the hips forward to come into a little bit of a lunge there. Letting the hands rest where is comfortable for you. Maybe changing your arm option here, circling or lifting the arms, whatever you feel your body needs. Left hand to left waist or to a prop there on that side. Perhaps the right arm reaches up as you breathe in. Exhale, leaning over to the left. Nice steady breath in and out. Great. And come back up through center. And now we pull the hips back a little bit to extend that front leg so that we can stretch through the back of it. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale as you begin to lean forward. Really into the back of that left leg. One more breath here. Good. Come up from there. Slide that foot back onto your knees. We're going to reach both arms up. Inhale, joining palms together as you exhale, sitting back into child's pose. Arms could be at your sides or out in front of you. Resting here for a moment. Just for 2 more breaths. Good. Supporting yourself to come upright from there, and then find a comfortable position to finish off this practice. That may be where you were to begin with. You might choose to lie down or take a different position. Let's come back to our square breathing or a box breathing, just a couple of cycles. If you were using the number 4 as I was at the start, maybe you want to experiment with the number 5, but that's up to you. As you're ready, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're holding for whatever count you've just taken on your inhale. Same count as you exhale. And then holding at that bottom. One more cycle. Good. When you've completed those rounds, just do a little check-in with yourself like you did at the start. How am I? Receiving whatever information comes up with kindness, with compassion. And then allowing your attention to begin to move outside of yourself, placing you back into your environment. It's my hope that this practice has given you a little bit of space, a little bit of freedom of movement in your body, a little bit of ease. And take care. Thank you.